Oh yes, my Straight Talk family, you hear that theme song, then you know it's time for me to say greetings to the entire world, because we are on the World Wide Web and we reach and touch you in Asia, reach and touch you in Africa, reach and touch you in Europe, and we reach and touch you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I'm at liberty to say good morning. And I'm at liberty to say good afternoon, because one of such greetings will be applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And they say that charity begins at home. So let me say a very special special night to St. Kitts and Nevis and to the entire Caribbean region. Wherever you are in the region, I say welcome to another edition of Straight Talk. And I am duty bound to say thank you to the Straight Talk family who continue to share the link. Because when you do so, we get first timers. And for the first timers, I must inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free, underline free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, be they environmental, be they technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, we do have a forum to express ourselves freely. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I thank Almighty God for blessing me with the opportunity to join you in conversation, my Straight Talk family, on yet another occasion. And as your host, I always pledge to remain an untiring advocate of truthfulness, as I am always reminded of the words of a favorite hymn of mine, an excerpt which goes something like this. We are called to be God's prophets, speaking for the truth and right, standing firm for godly justice, bringing evil things to light. So let's seek the courage needed, our high calling to fulfill, that we all may know the blessing of the doing of God's will. So my Straight Talk family, let me reassure you who are always with me, and for the first timers, let me assure you that absolutely nothing is watered down on this program to make it more interesting, either by omission or by exaggeration. Straight Talk is not about sensationalism. It's important I make this point. We are not about creating excitement, especially at the expense of accuracy. We lean on the facts because it's my duty to present the unvarnished truth, the plain truth, especially when it comes to governance, transparency, and of course integrity, not only in St. Kitts and Nevis and the Caribbean region, but wherever we are in the world. It's important because this program joins us together with people across our federation, people across the Caribbean. As a matter of fact, we are joined with people in the diaspora all over the world, all around the world, the Caribbean, Latin America, Europe, as I said, North America, Asia, and Africa. And we have met some people, some we will never meet, some we don't know, and many we will never ever know personally or meet them physically. And some of us will agree with the positions of truth advanced on Straight Talk, and I would say most of us would agree with those positions of truth that we try to advance on Straight Talk each Monday and Thursday. We heard from 8 to 10 in the PM. And that's fine if we disagree, because we promote diversity. A diversity of views is always a good educational process. But what will sadden me, my Straight Talk family, I must hasten to add, is if we ever start to become disagreeable. So let's in the meantime thank Almighty God nonetheless for helping us to understand, oh, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. So let us therefore hope and pray for that day when we will all sing his praise together. And for the first timers, I must inform you as well that Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean We include your calls and we include your emails. And if you're so minded calling, the numbers are on your screens, on your monitors there. You see them. And there's some of you who like what I call the cloak of anonymity. So we give you access via our email platform. That's Straight Talk Patches at Gmail. And that's one word. Straight Talk Patches is one word at gmail.com. And my Straight Talk family, there are some of you, and before I even go to that, we do have access via our Alexa platform, via Alexa, for those who have the app, rather. All you have to do is say, Alexa, play Massive Vibes Radio. We thank the owner for giving us access at nominal cost. And I was about to say, and it's important I make mention of those of you who have made donations to support our efforts here on Straight Talk. And I am duty bound, I believe, to say a big thank you to all. There's some who send donations, and it does not matter how small your contribution is. We welcome them because it helps to continue these important discussions. And in the process, it helps to defray our costs and maintain our commitment to what I call public service. And that's what we're doing here. So others who wish to donate can simply scan the code on your screen there, scan to donate today, and access the payment form. It's a very simple process, I can assure you. But thank you again for your support and for helping us to keep the dialogue alive. And we got to be careful. We got to keep our eyes and our ears out there, because there are many people who have some ulterior motives. Some who want to intimidate us, threatening all sorts of lawsuits and all sorts of things. But we put our trust in Almighty God. He will never let us be ashamed. A special welcome, my Straight Talk family, to our junior brigade. How could I forget that? Our young Dwayne, Tristan, Shamar, Kevin, young Rue, Jamal, Travis, Travon, and the others. And my special lady in St. Louis. Thanks again for helping me out today. And we usually begin with our observations in review, which are integral to Straight Talk. And many have asked me what's going on with my observations, because I normally give you 1, 2, but I'm going to rectify that tonight and from here on, because the observations provide updates which are critical to especially those in the diaspora, and keep you informed with what's happening. And following my observations, I introduce my thesis. Then I will include your calls and emails as mentioned earlier, to allow you to ensure or enjoy full participation. Yes, you get an opportunity to have your say. There's some people are not guided by the rules of brevity, but once the conversation is, helpful to all of us, we're not hard and fast on this 1 minute or 2 minutes, but, we would like you to be guided by the clock. And our observations tonight, my Straight Talk family, and before I even move there, after our observations in review, we will begin our thesis for tonight, which I have titled CBI GANGSTA-MOVE, Teef-from-Teef, Make God Laugh. So please, therefore, don't change your platform. Just spread the word that Straight Talk is live on social media, your YouTube and your Facebook platforms. And our first observation, I am badgered with calls to ensure that I continue to make the point as it relates to the construction of the desalination plant, which I raised at my last forum, on my last program. This plant is being constructed at the industrial site in East Bastille, close to the old factory, the old sugar house, as we call it. But the plant as sandwich, I call it, very close, in close proximity to two oil installations. And there's one on your screens, my Straight Dog family. And it's very close to the Sol installation plant, fuel installation plant. And my Straight Dog family is also very close as well to the Delta plant on the seaside, my Straight Dog family. And we always provide you with the evidence. And we don't know what's happening with the project, because as you can glean from the sign there, that it's all growing in grass, but nothing is happening. But I said before that the proximity to these two bulk installations raises several health and safety concerns that need to be carefully assessed and addressed, because there are several potential risks associated with this project that involves the Water Services Department as the focal point for the government, who will own the plant, we are told. The architect, Gemini Water LLC, and the contractor, Royal Utilities Limited 2023. I think that company has to do with the Marriott. But the concerns and the potential risk ought to be addressed. Because when fuel oil and seawater are present in a desalination plant, it creates a dangerous concoction. What a dangerous mix, for several reasons, both from a safety and an operational perspective. Contamination, beg your pardon, of desalinated water, my Straight Dog family, is a concern. Because the primary function of any desalination plant must be to produce clean, potable water by removing salts and other impurities from the seawater. However, fuel oil in the seawater could contaminate the output, making it unsafe for consumption. And this not only defeats the purpose of desalination, but it can also pose significant health risks to the population relying on the plant. And as a resident and former rep, I was asked to raise the issue and not to stop raising the issue until we get answers. Fuel oil has what is called a high viscosity. It's a gummy-like substance that can clog or damage the sensitive equipment used in desalination processes, such as reverse osmosis membranes or distillation units. And over time, oil buildup can cause system failures, reducing the efficiency of the plant and leading to costly repairs, my Straight Dog family, and replacements. And if fuel oil leaks into the seawater, and that happens or has been happening over the years over there in the Bastille roadside, as we call it. And it has created environmental damage. It harms marine life and ecosystem, especially if the oil is not quickly removed from the intake water. And my Straight Talk family, the presence of fuel oil also complicates the desalination process, requiring additional filtration or treatment steps which can further strain resources. But we can do without the fish if the marine areas are contaminated. Yes, but we can't do without the water, because water is life, my Straight Talk family. We don't know in terms of the regulatory and compliance issues, but generally, desalination plants must adhere to strict environmental and safety regulations. But my Straight Talk family, there is serious risk of environmental contamination, which is frightening. We know, as I said before, that these two oil installations handle various chemicals that can be dangerous to the environment. So, my Straight Talk family, I believe I speak on your behalf, especially those in East Basseterre, that we deserve better, and we will not continue to be ignored by the slow student Jeffrey Hanley. He must give the constituency, and by extension the country, the full assurance that we would not be poisoned, hear me, that we would not be poisoned from drinking that water. You have also asked me to continue to raise a vexing issue until we get answers, and I commit to you, my Straight Talk family, and those in East Basseterre, that I will. Like all of you, I too am very nervous to even think about drinking water produced from fuel oil and seawater, and we demand assurances from not only our representative, Jeffrey Hanley, the slow student, but from the administration of Terence Michael July and the soca king, the soca engineer rather, Congress Maynard. And still in East Basseterre, for my second observation, the construction of the new Basseterre High School remains a hot political potato, I call it. Remember, politics have overridden the science, as the site at Ponds Estate posed no threat to our water supply. And this was confirmed by the only hydrogeologist in the government system, only trained hydrogeologist, and now water engineer Cromwell Williams, who said this, my Straight Talk family.
I advised the government that the siting of the new Basseterre High School at the said location at Ponds Estate does not pose a threat or danger to our potable water supply, I did so without any reservation or doubt.
And he did so, as he said, without any reservation or doubt. And Williams, a trained hydrogeologist, still heads the Water Services Department. However, the slow student Jeffrey Hanley has not provided updates on this project, which we understand will be financed under the CBI program by Straight Talk family. Under the public benefit option, a main applicant is required to contribute $250,000 per application, the main applicant, that is. And we see the list of approved benefactors under this program. And if you go down the list, Preconco, St. Kitts Nevis Limited, is the company approved, a Barbadian company, I'm told, registered in St. Kitts, but approved to construct the Bastia High School under the public benefit option. To date, nonetheless, my Straight Talk family, to date, the country is unaware of the designs of the Bastia High School and the cost of the new Bastia High School. But this is a model of good governance and transparency practiced by the July administration. Dr. July told the whole world that 5,500 shares were approved for the Caribbean Galaxy project. Well, we are asking you, and we were thankful for that information. Well, what is the cost of the new Bastia High School? And how many shares or units have been approved for sale by Piconco St. Kitts Limited? We asked the same question, my Straight Talk family, about the Creative Arts Center that's also listed on the approved projects. The desalination plant, and all other projects listed under the public benefit option. Why are these state secrets? Why are these hidden from the people? Is a question we ask. No transparency whatsoever under this July administration. Our third observation, my Straight Talk family, I'm going downtown, and the old Treasury building in downtown Bastia has become an eyesore, my Straight Talk family. Yes, the old Treasury building in downtown Bastia has become an eyesore, I've said, my Straight Talk family. Once known as the gateway to the island, my Straight Talk family, once known as the gateway to the island, because its archway was the point of entry from the pier for passengers arriving by ship. Or even before that, when we had the old Treasury Pier, all these vessels came along that wooden pier, and people moved through that archway, as you can see there. And even at present, the archway is still the point of entry from the pier for passengers arriving by ship. But remember, the old pier became obsolete, I should say. That's the old Treasury Pier, wooden Treasury Pier, after the reclamation of 25 acres of land by the Simmons administration in the early 1990s, and has since been replaced by an apron. You can glean from that PowerPoint presentation, from which you can see Port Zante, the new cruise ship. You can't see it there, but if you go to the apron down at by the old Treasury, the new cruise ship facility, shops, and a craft market. But as I said, my Straight Talk family, this colonial building dates back as far as 1894 and now houses the National Museum run by the St. Christopher National Trust, and once offered an overview of the culture and heritage of St. Kitts and Nevis. And according to the St. Christopher Heritage Society's publication of 2000 on page 2, Lady Haynes Smith laid the foundation stone in 1984 for the two-story stone structure, which is a stylistic Georgian architecture adapted to the Caribbean and actually related to 4th Street and the former Treasury Pier, which, as I said, was the historic gateway to the island by the way of the Central Arch, my Straight Talk family. But when one looks at what's happening down at the historic site, just like the bathrooms at the Pelican Mall next door, another gateway, The minister and all who work at the Ministry of Tourism ought to be ashamed of the appearance at our tourism living room, I call it. When you look at the bathrooms for years, they still have not been repaired, my Straight Talk family. This is what we had at our tourists and passengers and our locals entering into. They still have not repaired these bathrooms to date, my Straight Talk family. Down there they have porta potties. Could you imagine, my Straight Talk family? And this is our, I call it, living room. And after 2.5 years, my Straight Talk family, 2.5 years in office, how much will it take to repair these bathrooms, my Straight Talk family? How much? But I know, getting back to the Treasury, that the St. Christopher National Trust has preserved and safeguarded many sites, many buildings and artifacts that hold archaeological, architectural, artistic, environmental, and historical significance on St. Kitts, and have thus ensured their legacy for future generations. I also know, and I stand to be corrected, that they may still receive a subvention from the government. How much, I don't know. But with all the CBI money that has flowed through the Treasury after all these years, my Straight Talk family, I believe this is unacceptable. This has to be unacceptable. And an eyesore, like I said. An eyesore, my Straight Talk family. But for how much longer must we pardon this eyesore in downtown Bastia? Is a question I ask. It's been there and nobody is doing anything about it. There's a staff. The staff, no doubt, is being paid. A daughter of the former Premier of St. Kitts was in charge. I don't know if she still is. But my Straight Talk family, we ask the question. The notice says to pardon our parents while we prepare to serve you better. But how long must we wait until you begin to serve us better? Is a question we ask here on Straight Talk. Another fourth observation, my Straight Talk family, relates to our Prime Minister, Dr. July, who is getting quite a lot of flack, and rightly so, for his poor leadership. So he sent his Vincentian wife to create a distraction the day before he appeared on the same media outlet. And take note, my Straight Talk family, like a king and an untouchable, he parked his vehicles in contravention of the law. So we know now, my Straight Talk family, that it is okay to park on the sidewalks when we cannot find another parking space downtown. Yes, let us just follow the leader. He can park on the sidewalks, we can park on the sidewalks too. But my Straight Talk family, it is his Vincentian wife, whom, beg your pardon, he met at the United Nations, who appeared on the media the day before as what I call a distraction. And I am happy, believe you me, that the ordinary people in this country did not fall for this strategy. And one single mother sent this very clear message to Dr. July, my Straight Talk family. One single mother said to Dr. July this, my Straight Talk family.
She didn't want to hear anything from she, you know. She better go, you know, because you man say she enjoy her life. She not go to other people out, you know, because then they be nice people. She would have talked to her husband and telling husband, Jew in nation, according to much, so you go do something, you think then now, people, she could never be nice and guy man and cheat people, so girl, tell she first kill the follow.
Yes, my Straight Talk family, straightforward, assertive single mother rejects the strategy. Fire you so and so, she said. And those are my observations in review for tonight, my Straight Talk family. And I move without hesitation into my thesis for tonight, which I said earlier, and for those who may have just joined me, I have titled my thesis for tonight, A CBI Gangster Move, or CBI Gangster Move, Teef-from-Teef, make God laugh, my Straight Talk family. The July, Dr. July administration, my Straight Talk family, it seems it is synonymous with corruption and lies. And that view is commonly expressed by most persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. Terence Michael July and his team of self-proclaimed experts, they give a good talk about good governance. They give a good talk about transparency and integrity. But their actions, I dare say, speak completely opposite to their words. My grandmother always said, where you find a liar, you find a thief. Yes, that's colloquial. Where you find a liar, you find a thief. And when you examine our leaders from across both narrows, they lie like when horse trotting, as some words my grandmother always used to use. Because my Straight Talk family, I listened to the snake Mark Brantley in his budget address yesterday. And he tried to intimidate poor Janice when Janice Daniel Hodge was right. The snake said this about the Rest Haven, my Straight Talk family, and we captured him well.
The then NRP-led administration in 2007 took the decision to acquire the abandoned Rest Haven property. During their remaining time in office, up to 2013, they made no attempt to arrive at fair compensatory value and never compensated the owners for their property. I wish to make it clear to this Honorable House that we have found no evidence as to why this property was acquired by the then NRP-led NIA. We have found no plans, no discussions, no notes as to why this decision was taken or what the plans might have been for that property.
Well, think about it, my Straight Talk family. CCM, according to the Premier, found no evidence. They found no plans, no discussions, and no notes. So what was the basis for his decision as Premier 6 years ago in 2018, my Straight Talk family, when he stated this in his budget address of 2018-2019? The snake, Mark Brantley, said this.
We continue, Mr. President, to aggressively seek a developer for the old Rest Haven hotel property. Its close proximity to downtown Charlestown provides an excellent opportunity for the construction of a small luxury hotel with conference facility, high-end gift shops, and a restaurant, along with a boardwalk, which will be a welcome enhancement to our high-end tourism sector.
You should hear that one more time, my Straight Talk family.
We continue, Mr. President, to aggressively seek a developer for the old Rest Haven hotel property. Its close proximity to downtown Charlestown provides an excellent opportunity for the construction of a small luxury hotel with conference facility, high-end gift shops, and a restaurant, along with a boardwalk, which will be a welcome enhancement to our high-end tourism sector.
And that was 6 years ago, my Straight Talk family, in his budget address at the Nevis Island Assembly for 2018-2019. What a big lie, I hear you say. But later that same day, across the Narrows here in St. Kitts, Terence Michael July was asked about the case involving the Development Bank. And oh, what a bold-faced lie he told us, as if there was a criminal case in court, when in fact it is the former CEO of the bank who filed a civil lawsuit against the bank. But apart from lying through his teeth, my Stray Dog family, Terence Michael July is so confused. He's so daft, as a young student told me a few days ago. He told a strange Nancy story about a Ponzi scheme, my Stray Dog family. He said this, believe it or not.
These are what Ponzi schemes are built on. Development Bank was being managed like a Ponzi scheme. First, you hide the truth from the people. Hundreds of millions of dollars are being mismanaged, and persons have no idea. And what you do is that you paint a rosy picture. But at some point, the truth in every Ponzi scheme come to light. We have some examples in the Caribbean. For example, the Alan Stanford fiasco, the Bernie Sanders fiasco, and I dare say now, the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis fiasco. So EK, they can create an image of what not is, make it look rosy when it's really rotten, EK. And the situation at Development Bank was rotten because of mismanagement and corruption that took place there.
My Stray Dog family, our Prime Minister is so confused. And we ought to give him a little crash course just for 3 minutes or 2 minutes and inform him that a Ponzi scheme is a type of investment fraud that involves paying returns to earlier investors using the capital of newer investors rather than generating legitimate profits through investments or business activities. Because this creates the illusion of a profitable business or investment opportunity, even though there is no real underlying profit being generated. And my Stray Dog family, I think we've had enough of Terence Michael July. And someone told me yesterday that he ought to resign right now and go to St. Vincent and the Grenadines to practice medicine. And his wife can practice law there at home in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This, of course, or rather this course of action, I should say, must be in the best public interest. My Stray Dog family, as a political leader, I always took umbrage, yes, I always took serious offense whenever people broad brush politicians and called us thieves or labeled us as being corrupt. But I grew to understand why, my Stray Dog family. And once you are innocent, you need not worry once your hands before God and man are clean, according to the late Lee Llewellyn Moore. But I listened recently to Kenyan lawyer, my Stray Dog family, and activist Professor Lumumba, and I shared this with you before. He said this, my Stray Dog family, which is instructive.
Going forward, we must also recognize our internal weaknesses. And what is our weaknesses? Chinua Achebe said it very well. The problem of Africa is simply and squarely one of political leadership. The rank of many political leaders in Africa are thieves. There are individuals who are not interested in the interest of this country, and as long as we continue electing such individuals into positions of power across Africa, they are going to be manipulated.
My street dog family, bold statement. So let us tonight examine the internal weaknesses of our Caribbean leaders, or perhaps my street dog family. We should go beyond that. Or perhaps we should even analyze our own leaders here in St. Kitts and Nevis. And what is troubling is that I must state from the onset that it seems as though thieving by our leaders is acceptable as long as they share the spoils, as this was intimated by a very popular, now very popular podcast host.
Hard like tongue house went. So I prefer the thief that she away, no? I don't know what ministers running up in there for right now, because let me tell you, by the time this labor done with the government and the money pot, nothing will be in there. They're empty. The pot will be empty. What are you going to fill it with? You're going out, go really more investors, go tell lies, and all kind of thing to accumulate the money and run well with the money in all kind of offshore account and all kind of thing to come give us excuse again. It's one bad experience we having after the other. So the best thing I say, let me bring back the thief for the sharing. Thief is thief, but let me bring back the one with the sharing, because all you ain't sharing nothing.
Imagine that. Bring back the thief that was sharing, according to Kendra. Very interesting perspective, my straight dog family. But my straight dog family, it is the content of a 3-page long-winded letter dated the 3rd December 2024 and is now circulating in the CBI market worldwide, that has exposed what stakeholders are calling a gangster move approved by the government of St. Kitts and Nevis, headed by a prime minister who is acting like the boss of an inner city street gang. The letter, my straight dog family, I post it on your screens for ease of reference. And it is a long letter, like I said. It's a 3-page letter. And it reads, you say it dated December the 3rd. And it reads, I'll read just some excerpts. It says, you were granted citizenship of St. Kitts and Nevis pursuant to an application for citizenship based on an investment in an approved public good infrastructure project under the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Regulations, number 52 of 2011, as amended by the St. Christopher and Nevis Citizenship by Investment Amendment Regulations, number 7 of 2022. The Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis has received an allegation along with supporting documents, that is, your client facilitation agreement with RAF Trust, Latitude, and other related documents, suggesting that despite the acknowledgement in your citizenship application that you were aware of the investment sum associated with your application, you invested less than the acknowledged and lawful investment sum. St. Kitts and Nevis's law, the Minister of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis, can deprive you of your citizenship if he concludes that it was obtained by false representation, fraud, or willful concealment of material facts. And it is not conducive to the public good that you and your dependents, co-applicants, if any, should remain citizens of our country. Given the reference information, it continues, documents and law, the Minister of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship of the Government of St. Kitts and Nevis provides you and your dependents, co-applicants, with the following notice. The notice is on the screen to your right, my Straight Talk family. Unless you, on or before December 31st, 2024, provide documentary evidence to the satisfaction of the minister in writing by email addressed to the National Security at gov.kn, establishing that you paid the investment sum stated in your citizenship application, including but not limited to copies of bank statements, checks, wire transfers, or other documents evidencing payment, or 2, provide documentary evidence to the satisfaction of the minister in writing by email addressed to National Security at gov.kn, proving the sum which remains unpaid, and pay the remainder of any unpaid investment sum stated in your citizenship application to the satisfaction of the minister to the following account held by the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis in Abu Dhabi, United Arab Emirates. And the bank name is listed here as First Abu Dhabi Bank PJSC. Account holder, the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis. The current account number is listed, my Straight Talk family, and all the other information. But hear this, it continues. The minister will construe your failure to timely A, respond to this notice, or B, take the actions demanded as acceptance of the allegation that you invested less than the acknowledged and lawful investment sum. Thus, the minister may issue an order revoking your and your dependents/co-applicants St. Kitts and Nevis passport, my Straight Talk family. And it continues. If you do not take either of these actions but wish to dispute the grounds for revocation of your citizenship, and your dependents, co-applicants, have the right to apply for, appear before, make representation to a commission of inquiry, and be represented by a lawyer of your choosing. If you or your dependents, it continues, or co-applicants wish to be heard before a commission of inquiry, please send a letter by email addressed to National Security at gov.kn on or before December 31, 2024. The letter must include your and your dependents' co-applicants' names, residential addresses, email addresses, mobile telephone numbers, and a brief statement as to why you contend that you and your dependents/co-applicants' citizenship should not be revoked. The Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship will thereafter provide you and your dependents, co-applicants, with details as to your hearing date before the Commission of Inquiry with at least 14 calendar days notice. Please proceed accordingly. Yours truly, Glenroy Blanchett, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship, beg your pardon. But my Straight Talk family, I asked a question from a layman's standpoint. What standing does the government has to claim any shortfall in any investment? I ask the question again. What standing does the government has to claim any shortfall in any investment? And furthermore, my Straight Talk family, the act referred to, or the legislation referred to, was revised in 2022. And no legislation can be retroactive. But this idiot of a prime minister, from the time he got into office, he is on a pathway to destroy St. Kitts and Nevis. This road that July and his cabinet have now embarked upon will lead to the destruction of the CBI more than he has already done, my Straight Dog family. July has called Martinez a fraud, my Straight Dog family. Remember this. Remember this, my Straight Dog family. He called Martinez a fraud. Something we knew before, but he belatedly said this.
He was convicted for fraud. And I want to read it to you because it's critically important. Because it goes to the crux of the matter of what I would discuss and some of these things. So I will read it for you. Just bear with me a bit. All right. So let's delve into it a little bit. So a report was done, and the report provides a comprehensive analysis of who this gentleman is, his career, his activities, and particularly focusing on certain areas, especially in St. Kitts and Nevis. The report delves into dealings in St. Kitts and Nevis. The report introduces dealings in initial attempts in establishing what I would say opportunities in the Caribbean. And I will read this part for you as we go. Mr. Martinez is a French film producer, director, screenwriter, and actor with a career that spans some decades.
As we talk family, what July told us we knew well over 2 years ago. We said that right here on this platform called Straight Talk. But what laws did Martinez transgress in St. Kitts Nevis? Philippe Martinez apparently ran afoul of the law in France. But here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Caribbean Galaxy was approved by the CIU under the alternative investment option, my Straight Dog family, to build a correctional facility or a prison as everybody calls it. And I am not a lawyer, but the arrangement, my Straight Dog family, under which approval was granted is as simple as ABC. A, 5,500 shares were approved. B, government already collected its fees as per the legislation. I'm advised amounting to $688 million. According to the COR, the certificates of registration signed by July and the number of passports issued. C, all that is now required by Caribbean Galaxy is to hand over the asset, hand over the prison when construction is completed. So not $1 is owed to the government. And my view is not absolute, but that's my humble view. Because the legislation is clear. Sell the units or shares, yes, at an approved price as per the legislation. Pay the government its fees and hand over the project or the asset to the government when it's built. So July comes to the country and tell us that a man in one of the videos tried to shake him down for $40 to $100 million. And that was fraud. That was thieving or an attempt to rape the government treasury, my Straight Dog family. He told us this.
Subsequently, one of the persons in the videos that he have, and I want you to listen to this, approached the government. And one of the things that was said to me and to the government was if we wanted this to go away, we need to pay 40 to 100 million US dollars in my office. How can a man enter in my office saying to me that I have to take 40 to 100 million dollars out of the government's treasury to settle this case that a fraudster has brought forward, who should not have been in the first place?
My Street Talk family, imagine this agent colludes with Philippe Martinez, who is a fraudster according to Dr. July, and provides information on his clients to Martinez, which he filed in his RICO lawsuit. And the St. Kitts Nevis government now seizes the opportunity to make up its budget shortfall of over $322 million by extorting money from clients of Caribbean Galaxy. And that is my understanding of the matter. Dr. July budget is in deficit. There will be no double salary, no dividend, no money. Because he said this about his budget already, my Street Talk family. Remember, he told us this.
In 2019, CBI generated EC $443 million for the federal government. In 2020, it generated EC $271 million. In 2021, EC $543 million. In 2022, EC $669 million. In 2023, EC $620 million. In 2024 up to September, CBI has generated EC $280 million, less revenue to date compared to previous years.
And my Street Talk family, those monies in 2022 and 2023 came from the Galaxy project, we are told. Well, this seems to be a case where someone was trying to thief $40 to $100 million from the government, or to rape the treasury of that amount. And now the government, through the Ministry of National Security, is now trying to thief money from over 100 CBI clients, who they claim thief money from the government by underpaying for their passports or taking part in an underselling passport scheme. And whose signature, my Street Talk family, is on the letter? Do you believe that, my Street Talk family? Whose signature is on the letter? A man called Fresh Face, Glenroy Fresh Face Blanchett. And remember, my Street Talk family, that Fresh Face said this about the labor philosophy some years ago. He said this.
I remember in the 1970s, there was a man called Liburd. Liburd said that his government had the power to take not only land, but life as well. That is the philosophy and the ideology of the Labour Party.
So has the philosophy and the ideology of the Labour Party changed, Fresh Face? No, it has not changed. It has just been extended. Because they're still taking the land, the Labour Party. And they're taking the life as well. Because things are so hard under this July administration. And now, what they're doing, they're taking back passports. Now, many have opined, many have expressed the view that this recent action undertaken by the July administration is typically associated with criminal behavior that is sanctioned and supported by the government through officials in the Ministry of National Security. It is a gangster move, as I said. It is a ruthless or morally questionable tactic, obviously aimed at recovering money lost to cover his budget shortfall of over $322 million, my Stray Dog family. Anybody who is familiar with budgeting, you anticipated or you projected $540 million. And in the third quarter, $540 million, I must add, from the CBI program. And in the third quarter, you find yourself at a 60% variance in your revenue collection. Then something is wrong. What is the reason for that variance? Somebody should be fired. You can work in the private sector and you have a 60% variance. You're allowed 5%. Some may go to 6%. But the fact is, the variance has derived from the fact that Terence Michael July has damaged the CBI, he has damaged the economy, and he has damaged our prosperity. Dr. Terence Michael July is behaving like a gangster as his government now engages in or allows unethical, corrupt, or violent actions that would typically be seen as criminal if carried out by individuals or groups outside of official power. This is government corruption. The Prime Minister, my Stray Dog family, turned a blind eye to what he's now trying to label as organized crime or illegal business deals or exploitation. But remember, earlier, it served his government's political, economic, or financial interests, because Philip Martinez told us about this, and he has not denied this, my Stray Dog family.
And Terence Drew, I have supported you. I have applauded the reform that you've done. But now that I know that you have processed the vast majority of the Galaxy application and that you have lied to me, now you got some explaining to do. Not only with me, and you know what I'm talking about.
I wonder what he's talking about, my Stray Dog family. Terence Michael July signed all those applications, signed all those passports he's now threatening to revoke. But when you listen to Philip Martinez, my Stray Dog family, it looks like Teef-from-Teef making God laugh. A thief who steals from a thief makes God laugh is a colloquial expression that suggests that when someone takes advantage of another who is already dishonest or immoral, it is not seen as truly wrong by the moral or divine perspective. Any government that takes something that does not belong to it might be called a thief in government. We have a bunch of politicians playing on the idea that two wrongdoers cancel each other out, or that the divine or moral judgment of their actions become less clear or relevant. It implies, my Stray Dog family, that God or the universe finds humor in the irony of the situation, because both Martinez and government officials are acting in morally questionable ways. In essence, it's a way of saying that when two parties are involved in wrongdoing, the act may seem less significant or even absurd. Because if Drew signed all those CORs, he was indulged in wrongdoing. It it may also reflect a sense of inevitable justice or karma, where wrongdoing is dealt with in a circular, somewhat humorous way. My Straight Talk family, what is happening now in St. Kitts and Nevis, I conclude, is reckless. We've seen a CBI gangster move where Teef-from-Teef make God laugh. And that's my story tonight, my Straight Talk family, and I am not going to change it. But I'll open the lines and entertain your calls and your emails, my Straight Talk family. And when I do so, and I'll do so momentarily, I anticipate that you will respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us try to be fair to all concerned, and let us try to build goodwill and better friendships. And let us ensure, my Straight Talk family, that the things we say and or do will be beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. With that said, at 9:12, we go to the lines and say, caller, you're live.
Good night.
Yes, good night, my dear brother. Sounds like the Bible man.
The Bible man is here.
How about thou?
I will start with St. John chapter 3. And when he said, marvel not, I said unto you, you must be born again. That is, a new world is coming. God is coming back for his people. And so, Patrick, I am not coming on the line to play in a joke. I want to tell the people, you got to be born again. And I can tell you, Patrick, the Bible says in Psalm 37 and verse 11, the meek shall inherit the earth and live an abundant, live good. So when Jesus come back, this world is going to burn like an oven, Mr. Patin. And then he are going, John say, I saw a new heaven and a new earth coming down. For you to go in that new heaven and the new earth, you got to be born again. Patin, good night.
Good night, my dear brother. We go back to the lines and say thank you, caller, for holding your live. Hello, caller.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. You hear me?
Yes, we're hearing you loud and clear.
How you doing, Mr. Patches?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
That's great. Great. Thanks for taking my call. My name's Jay, right? I'm calling from the States.
Mm-hmm.
And I just have one thing to say about Nevis in particular. So I want, the people to know I did a trace on some land, right? Since we, on the topic of land, I did a trace on some land that I got from my auntie. And when I traced it, right, it told me she was the first owner on the land that been around for millions of years. So my thing is, and this is a question for Dr. Drew, understand, because he's the prime minister, right? And who's paying attention to what's going on Nevis? This is a land in Nevis, right? How could she be the first owner of a land that been around for millions of years? So,
hundreds,
like hundreds, whatever it is. Okay. I may be exaggerating here,
yeah, good.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But when I did the trace, it says my great auntie is the first owner, and then I did another trace that says my great uncle is the first owner. That can't be possible. They was born in the 1920s. They cannot be first owners of that land. So someone needs to go over to Nevis and pay a little bit of attention. I know the CBI thing is a big topic, right? But where they getting the land for the off of the CBI? You see what I'm saying? No, is anybody paying attention to that? So that's all I got to say. And
So
hopefully,
where did you get your information from? You say you traced it.
What information? I traced it. I was in Nevis. I did a trace and went to the registry.
The registry, okay, fine. Okay.
Nobody told me this. No third party person told me this. I personally was on hand, did a trace, and it says my great auntie was the first owner. And then we paying taxes on the land. How? So I didn't understand that. So I think that should be addressed, and I think that should be magnified somehow. You know, if the people's listening, that needs to be, the registry should be held accountable, because why do they have, putting out information like this, that she's the first owner? She could never be the first owner. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say.
Thank you very much. Well, that's very interesting topic. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you live.
Good night, Mr. Liburd.
Good night, my dear.
The quote for this evening: it's always the ones with dirty hands pointing their fingers, but the robber that smiles steals something from the thief. I repeat, it's always the ones with dirty hands pointing their fingers, but the robber that smiles steals something from the thief. Have a great evening.
Could you let me get the last.
Yeah, okay.
I don't write short on news.
Okay. It's always the ones with dirty hands
pointing fingers.
Pointing their fingers, but the robber that smiles steals something from the thief.
That smiles steals something from the thief. That's right?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Your quotations as usual. Smile steals something from the thief. Steals something from the thief. Okay, let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you.
Patches?
Yes, that sounds like the major. How are thou, sir?
Yes, I'm all right. I want to ask you two questions. Right? I think you're gonna enjoy them, One. Listen, You listen to me?
I'm listening.
What are you striving for?
Well,
you heard me?
That's a rhetorical question, but go ahead.
All right, Jesus says, well, I can tell you what I believe. What I believe,
Yes, sir.
It is to work something good in order to receive life.
Okay.
Or rather to focus your attention on the Savior, and your attention on the Savior through personal faith and his work. You understand that?
Got you, my brother.
Yep. And let me carry on. And before I leave, laugh your way to good health. Because Solomon, the wise one, said, a merry heart does good. It's like medicine.
Okay.
So all I'm saying to you is keep healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your guidance as the major. Always philosophical about his ideas. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, it's 9:19. You're live.
Yes, Mr. Liburd?
Yes, speaking.
Yes, good. Well, thank you. Blessings to you, and thank you for all of the information you're sharing. My senior pastor said once that God often allows bad, or sometimes he would allow bad things to happen so that good things could be achieved. And I think this is an instance of it here. I am glad, and I think many people in our country, we are glad that an attempt is now made to recoup the money that is owing to the people of the country. Not the government of the country, but the people of the country. Yes, the citizenship of the country is the patrimony of the people. And if there was underselling, this particular strategy of getting those who pay less than the law would have required them to pay, or as far as I'm concerned, what they needed to pay, it should go straight into the government's treasury, that excess amount, that extra amount of the underselling bit, straight into government's treasury for the good of the people of the country. That's what the aim should be. And to be quoting from this same gentleman who is such a crook, he's definitely an extortionist. Well, I don't think that, I mean, he can say all sorts of things, but I think I'm going to stick to our people here. And I am glad that the Prime Minister is taking the route he's taking, and I'm wishing him well for the good of the people of the country. Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. Can I? Okay, I've lost that caller. I wanted to ask the question, but let's go back to the lines and say good night to our next caller. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Mr. Patrick. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Yes. How are you today? Tonight.
I am peaceful. You have your equipment on. I'm getting a feedback from you.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
Just move away. Turn it down. Just listen to your telephone. Just listen to your telephone. You can hear me on the telephone.
I'm not by the, you know.
Yeah, but just listen to your telephone.
Much better?
Yes, sir. I want the whole world to hear you.
Yeah, okay.
People like you, the whole world must listen to.
No, man. I'm away from every instrument, you know. I don't know what happened.
What?
Anyhow, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, I want the whole world to hear. The whole world. Yes, sir.
Okay, give thanks. Patches, I'm perplexed with some of your conversation, right? Your statement that you're making and this. I'm very perplexed, and I'm a student of you, and I'm a layman in this political arena, but I want you to help me understand the geography of what you're talking about with the passport and the signing off of the passport. In my layman conversation, politically, I heard you stated that Jews sign off on all these passports. This passport being processed by whom? The former Prime Minister, right?
No.
I'm asking a question.
No. They were processed by the current Prime Minister.
But Mr. Timothy had already overlooked some application of the passport, but he didn't have the opportunity to sign off on them. I'm using the word and putting the pen and paper together, sign off on them. But Mr. Timothy is the one that already approved the application. Is it so?
I'm saying no, because the project was approved at a particular time, and sometime late in 2021, I think it was, November, December, and the process started. But the government changed, was June? Is it August? Sorry, August. And all these applications rolled in. And the current Prime Minister, Dr. July, has not denied he has signed these passports. As a matter of fact, he came with some Nancy story about he was set up. So he was the one who signed all of them, the majority of them. His partner in almost said crime, his partner, Philippe Martinez, did make that statement, and he has not denied it. So he has signed most of the CORs, and that's a fact.
Yes, but who processed the passport? Who processed the passport before Mr. Joe get in power? Who started the application?
The passports don't get signed. The process is, it goes to the, what do you call it, the CIU, that's the Citizenship Investment Unit. It is checked. Right. It is checked. All the due diligence measures are taken. Then it's sent to the Prime Minister, who is the minister with responsible for citizenship, to sign what is called the COR, which are the certificates of registration. It then goes back, I think, to the CIU and on to the Ministry of National Security. Then the passport is processed there. You can't process a passport without the COR.
Right, okay, but I according to the conversation and my knowledge that the knowledge I gather from you, and even from the past about this passport application that being signed off by Dr. Joe. My lemon knowledge that this passport, this application was already on the governor and the prime minister desk, the former prime minister desk, but he didn't have the opportunity to sign off on them. And Joe went in with, not a full mature political mentality, a lemon state of mind, and so to speak, and
he was saying
he signed it.
But he was saying
prematurely he signed it.
No, but when he was in opposition.
So who is to blame?
Wait. I can tell you who is to blame. Yeah, I can tell you that exact question. When he was in opposition on the campaign trail, right? And they were talking about the number of shares or units issued to Caribbean Galaxy. Jew is on record of saying it was criminal. So he knew it was criminal and he came into government. He came the prime minister and he signed all these CORs that come out of a criminal act. So who is he going to blame? He got to take all the blame. And having now signed all of them, he's trying to revoke them. Come on.
I understand, Mr. Patches. He has to take some responsibility.
That's some responsibility. You got to take all responsibility. You got to take all the responsibility.
No, but you have to lean some of the... Mr. Patches, let us be fair and honest.
That's
right?
not fair. His problem is
human error.
A human error. He see all the fees coming in, right? You heard him list them out. $669 million, $630 million. That comes from the fees.
The country need money. But the country need money. Patches, you might have do the same thing.
Not at all.
You might have do the same thing.
I'm a principled man. If you say...
Come on, Patches. Be real, man.
You can't speak for me. I'm speaking for myself. I am saying that if he said it is a criminal act, how could he turn a blind eye and perpetuate the criminal act? Come on, there's no excuse for that. That's why things will go bad in St. Kitts. People don't want to stand up
and the criminal act process. I understand, Mr. Patty, but let us be real and let us be realistic and be honest with ourselves. And search our conscience and be fair. The person who started the criminal act is the former prime minister. Because Mr. Timothy would also done that same criminal act if he had get back in power.
So if you see,
let us be real.
If you see a fella going rams and taking out some pigtail, right? And they come out and the body find him, you going to take it out too? That's what you're saying?
Well, maybe if I see it legal and there's no punishment behind of it.
If illegal, if no policeman around? Anyway, take 5 seconds. Take 5 seconds.
I'm saying that
if you see somebody going into rams
and there's no punishment around that.
Oh, you're illegal when they're breaking rams and taking out the pigtail. You're saying
hear me what I said. I said if it's legal.
It can't be legal if you break rams.
But Mr. Patches, be real. I know you're doing a very good job and I give you credit for that. But be real. Put some of the responsibility on Mr. Timothy and the former Prime Minister. He is responsible to raise the country too. He is responsible to raise the country. But you see the problem is, Mr.
From the perspective, right, that the project was approved under the former administration, some responsibility has to be accepted. Right? So in terms of the approval of I don't know why 5,500 shares were issued. But what I'm saying, if Joe was such an honest guy and an upright guy, he talked about it in the opposition. He went in and he turned a blind eye and signed 2,000 or 20 something, signed off 20 something thousand passports. And you tell me he was a layman? Anyway, take 2 more seconds. You've been on that for longer.
Mr.
2 more seconds.
Yeah, Mr. Patrick, he was in a lemon frame of mind at that moment.
He's still in a lemon frame of mind. He should go to St. Vincent, practice medicine, go back with his wife and she practice law. Have a good night, sir.
Mr. Patrick.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you for your input as usual. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, I am so sorry about that. I've kept you holding so long. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
It is a pleasant good evening to you.
Good night, my dear. Good evening to you as well.
And how are you?
I am peaceful. I am peaceful. What about yourself? And I see those dimples. You see, it makes me smile.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Good to hear, as usual.
Sometimes when you hear that St. Thomas guy here talking,
just listen, right?
sometimes the person talk and how she and don't answer him, he talk and go because don't care what you try to tell him, he just cannot get it. Something wrong with his head, his brains, and the same thing with King Liar. I don't care what you try to tell the guy, he just cannot get it, he don't know, look, he don't even know wrong. So right. So you don't even have to listen, study him, let him talk until when he's ready to get out. Just give him a certain amount of time to talk and what's that. And to the lady that called in and speak about the money to come go in, send it to the treasury. She will. Who is going to come now and talk about them and go pay more for the passport than what they buy it for? Is we now going in the trend because the people them, if the people them decide anyhow, okay, you want me to pay more whatever? Please give me back my money and here is your passport. So where are the money to give them back? Huh? She will want the money to go in the treasury, but here in the treasury is underwater regoing if it's that she looking for. But is it about pleasure? Good evening, you hear me?
Thanks a lot. Have a good evening as well, my dear. I'm not really clear, but I'll get back to that. Caller, you live. Hello, caller.
Patrick, how are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
I'm fine. I just listening to the show, and I didn't intend to call in, but I'm making a call still. You showed a letter on your screen a while ago. I think it's a 3-page letter. And according to what I saw, it appears that it has been signed by Glenroy Blanchett. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
No. If he sign it, I might be wrong. It has to be that he wrote it, he instructs somebody to write it, and then he sign it. Would you agree?
Well, most likely it was drafted by the Attorney General, because that's something like that. It has a legal... It's legal, laced with all legal plans, I can use that term.
Okay, great. But Glenroy Blanchett sign it.
Yes.
So once his signature on it, I am saying is he, because me is in the Attorney General signature, so me going to call the Attorney General name into nothing.
No, but I was saying who drafted the letter, right? I don't...
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with someone drafting the letter and he signs it.
Yeah, but the point I want to make, if I come into your... I'm just going to be making a whole joke with you, If I come into your cement factory, because I remember at one time I was here when you had a cement factory, some cement business, I don't know how it is. So I'm making a joke with you now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
If I come into your cement factory and you sell me 4 sacks of cement at $40 each, which is $160, it makes a total of $160. And after me done pay you, done everything, you give me receipt and where, and you give me receipt and me gone. Can you come back to me maybe 3 weeks after and tell me, buy, I undersell you the cement and you owe me an extra $90? I'm just trying to loan, Can I come back? Can you come back to me and tell me, buy, this thing no right, I undersell you the cement and you owe me an extra $90? Do I have to pay you? I must pay you. And if me not pay you, you could come and take up me 4 sacks of cement out of my yard, or the case may be, you ain't see this thing seem as though you're going to end up into legal battle.
Yes, obviously. Obviously.
Now, I will be happy, don't get me wrong, if the government could redeem the money. Because if they redeem the money, everybody in St. Kitts could benefit from it. But if you don't, what did I say? We're going to man in can't come good at night. Why the term?
We're going by the morning can't come good at night.
Okay, right. So I'm saying, whether as the gentleman said a while ago that it was a human error or a mistake or whatever, I don't know which one it was. Okay. Catches, it don't happen. Yep. Yes, we want to redeem our money, but I see it going to a legal battle because if you come take up my cement out my yard patches, then the courthouse is there once I got a receipt. Now, somebody may say, but I know that the cement them cost more. Because that will be the argument that I know. But you're the owner of the cement. You're the operator of the business. Are you sell it to me? May not making any kind of sense.
Yes, okay. I got you, my brother. I got you.
All right.
Okay, thanks a lot for your intervention. We go back to the lines and thank this caller for holding. Caller, you're live. It's 9:37.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, man. How you doing, Mr. Liburd, man?
I'm peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Yeah, pretty good. Yeah, quick question for you. Why are our government suing for monies that is alleged that's sitting out there in China in their bank accounts under that CBI program? People are asking and people are calling for the money to come back to the Federation, whatever is out there. Not just monies that the Prime Minister now has this new thing. He's trying to recover money from passport that they undersold.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go right ahead, man.
You are aware of the process, right? In terms of the developers, the agents, and the CIU, right? And the legislation.
Yeah, explain that to us.
The legislation,
I was in this
the legislation speaks to approval and for the different options. In this case, it's $175,000. That's the application. Once the application is made, you're expected to pay that amount of money. But the legislation also speaks to fees. The only thing that's due to the government are the fees, and the list of fees are the main applicant $25,000, and I think it's the wife, if that's what it's called, $15,000, and 2 children as a family of 4. That's $10,000 each. That's $60,000. So the government gets its fees of $60,000 per application of 4. That's where they get this 670 something. The money is called out, and that's when you look in the budget. You see under the citizenship by investment, it says $688 million for 2023 or whatever it was, 2022. But it comes from the fees. The other monies, there's no other money due to the government, and that's the part I'm not getting clear from some people who are saying the government owe this money or people owe the government money, and that's my view. You're entitled to your view, but I want that to be clear. The legislation only speaks to the government collecting fees, period.
Okay, let me ask you a question back. The money what Drew is trying to collect now from the underselling, are those monies fees?
No, they're not. They're not. He's saying that they're underpaid. But if they're underpaid, they are. If you're selling and they underpay you ain't collect the money. How you do it? They pay the fees. They pay the monies he listed out, and he in his address he spoke to from 2019 to 2023 September, 2024 September.
Yeah.
Right. those are monies collected from the fees. Those are the only monies due to the government. That's how the system works for all the years.
So when he said 218, so when he said 218 million collected this year up to September,
those are from the fees.
Those money are just fees.
That's all the government collects.
Got you. All right, but
So,
anyway, man.
Yeah, it sounds good.
The Prime Minister got to be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
In my humble opinion, man, the Prime Minister got to be careful because, you know, like the guy from St. Thomas, he's wondering and he's trying to get this information. But like I said, man, if he know that underselling was the issue, I don't see why he came in and took his hands and his fingers and a pen and sign off on these amount of passports.
Over 20,000 he signed.
I cannot see him doing that. And if he did that, that's on him. If that was I don't know if that was a criminal act before they came in. I know they make some changes, and they said that they was going to put it to be a criminal act. But
that's the change in law, yes.
You know, who forced him to sign these passports? Nobody did. He signed that. That's why he's finding himself in a quagmire right now. Trying to recover that money now. Is that going to exempt him from what he done did already?
He broke now. You
know.
You want money.
But to that lady that called and was talking about the money, I know another caller addressed her. My question for her tonight is, I heard her said that before, that she want $10,000 for all citizens. Why is she now saying that she want that money to go into the treasury? And different than that, I got a message out to the listeners coming from Mr. Welcome. You know, he was involved in an incident where he got hurt, and he just wanted to put it out there to let his fans know, and the listeners, that he's going to be out of commission for a minute. That's all I can say about that for now.
Okay.
So he just wants to let the listeners know he's going to be out of commission for a minute.
Okay, 1 minute.
All right, but thanks a lot, man. Keep pushing the information, man. Thanks.
My pleasure, my brother. And yes, he signed all these certificates of registration. And his good friend Philippe Martinez told us so. He has not denied it. Here's what Martinez said, my Straight Talk family.
And Terence Drew, I have supported you. I have applauded the reform that you've done. But now that I know that you have processed the vast majority of the Galaxy application and that you have lied to me, now you got some explaining to do. Not only with me, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yes, and it's been very interesting, my Straight Talk family, because there had to be some, what I call, government corruption. And I say so because the Prime Minister, Dr. Terence Michael July, turned a blind eye and signed over 20,000 passports, or CORs, I should say. And to know what he's calling, it seems, a crime, or illegal business deals, or exploitation. But earlier, it served his government's political, economic, and or financial interests. That's why I say, it looks like Teef-from-Teef making God laugh. As I said, a thief who steals from a thief makes God laugh. And that's the colloquial expression I've used for tonight. When someone takes advantage of another who is already dishonest or immoral, is not seen as truly wrong by the moral or divine perspective. He signed them, and somebody underpaid, as he says. So they're already dishonest or immoral. But you signed them too, Terence Michael Drew. You signed 20,000 or more passports, more CORs. And any government that takes something that does not belong to it might be called a thieving government, I put it to you. As we have a bunch of politicians playing on the idea here that two wrongdoers cancel each other out, or that the divine or moral judgment of the actions becomes less clear or relevant. It implies, my Straight Dog family, that God or the universe finds humor in the irony of the situation, because Martinez and these government officials are acting in morally questionable ways. That's my view, my Straight Dog family. And I like the quotation from that lady. It's always the ones with dirty hands pointing the fingers, she said. But the robber that smiles steals something from the thief. Very interesting perspective. And my Straight Dog family, you may have just joined us. It's 8:46 or 9:46, beg your pardon. 8:46 in North America, yes. And if you have just joined us, we have addressed the thesis for tonight, my Straight Dog family, which I've titled CBI Gangsta-MOVE. And I've seen a letter from the Ministry of National Security, which I posted on your monitors, which I refer to as a gangster move. CBI Gangsta-MOVE is my thesis. Teef-from-Teef, make God laugh. My Straight Dog family. And as I said before, I made the point, my Straight Dog family, that here in St. Kitts, it seemed to be all right when our leaders thief and tell lies. And the July administration, I made the point as well. It seems it is synonymous with corruption and lies. And that's the view commonly expressed by most persons in St. Kitts and Nevis. You hear them, man, this Prime Minister July. Even the young persons are saying that. And Terence Michael July and his team of self-proclaimed experts, they give a good talk about good governance. They give a good talk about transparency and integrity. But their actions, my Straight Dog family, are completely opposite to their words. And I made the point as well that my grandmother always said, where you find a thief or where you find a liar, you find a thief. And when you examine, as I said earlier, our leaders from across the Narrows, they lie like when horse trotting. Again, my grandmother used to use those words. And I mentioned earlier, for those across the Narrows, that I listened to the snake Mark Brantley yesterday, and he tried to intimidate the leader of NRP, Janice Hodge, when she was right. But let's take this call and come back to that line of discussion. Caller, you live. Good night.
Mr. Liburd, which one of the ministers had said money is growing on trees?
The Minister of Agriculture.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. That's a short question. Yes, Samuel Duggan said we'll find money growing on trees. It should have started growing yesterday. Or this year, beg your pardon. But now he's growing peppers instead of the money on the trees. But I was saying, my Straight Talk family, I listened to Brantley in his budget address, and he tried to intimidate poor Janice Hodge when she was right, based on what I have listened to and I have researched. Because Brantley said this. I call it the lie on West Haven, my Straight Talk family. And he said this, which I'll play after I take this call. Caller, you live.
Actually, me again. It's just a joke. I just started it before I go to sleep. You said thief, as by thief make God laugh, isn't it?
Teef-from-Teef, yes. You never heard that, Major?
Yes, I heard that, but I wanted to know, what I wanted to get around this fabrication. You think that God, the Heavenly Master, take it as a joke, or I take it seriously?
He take everything seriously.
Huh?
They take everything seriously. When he come to the judgment, right? You can't call no evidence, you know. The judgment of Christ.
But he laughed. He laughed. He said, as far as he concerned, Teef-from-Teef, he said, well, that ain't gonna wait. That ain't gonna wait. I laugh after that. I got that's a big joke. And that is why after I just come to my mind before I let him say, let me see you on that way. What you're gonna say? He laughed. So I wanted to know why he laughed. Why did he say, well, if you're a thief, go away, right? I don't want to have to deal with you. But he laughed. He had it was a joke. You don't think so?
Well, you will be recompensed for stealing, for thieving, as we say.
I hope that ain't malapropism. I hope that is not malapropism. I hope that is not malapropism. Because I think about that quite seriously. Why the boss laugh? Say, man, go, you're going. I don't want to deal. The Jews have to deal with the Samaritans. Go ahead, you thief. I don't need to see you.
Right, exactly.
What do you think, eh?
You have it right. Your interpretation is spot on, Major.
Yeah.
Your interpretation is spot on, you know.
Okay, okay.
Thanks a lot for your intervention. Fallout, Major. Very interesting perspective, you know. No, a thief who steals from a thief makes God laugh. It is a colloquial expression. I believe it has some origins, I'd say, in Jamaica. It suggests that when someone takes advantage of another who is already dishonest or immoral, then it is not seen as truly wrong by the moral or divine perspective. Caller, you're live. Any caller?
Greetings and love.
Greetings, my brother.
How you doing, my brethren? Blessed night to the eye.
I am peaceful, Ras Aya. What about yourself?
Joyful to the love of the Almighty and the ancestors in truth and honor and respect. Just blessed night to you and your listeners for your YouTube and your Facebook and your call Facebook. See, now we're just getting some showers of blessing in the east side of Taylor's in our project extension. Just like to share something I heard the Premier make some indication about that revenue sharing, and knowing that you're the part of the administration of the 2015 to 2020 administration that apply to at that level. So I would like to know, underground, have he had able to bring any discussion prior to how the revenue of that will be aligned within both of the aisle from the Nevis shows? Now, as he stated in his budget debate, that the revenues are both basically what come out from the Navy shows have to go down to the Treasury in Sinkers, and then they will do equivalent on the interest of the revenue, and then send back up a percentage back to the Navy's avenue. What discussion have he bring to that farm administration where you're on in that aspect of the VAT revenue sharing? He will like to share to the public.
I am not certain if this revenue sharing method works. He gets because he argues that most of that are paid in St. Kitts because there's a point, if you have a company registered in St. Kitts that operates in Nevis, they file in St. Kitts. Those are the issues you have. But the revenue sharing method envisions what you said. Where you pool the monies and then you actually deduct the expenditure. And if Nevis gets, based on the arrangement, whatever percentage, if it gets less, then you send the difference to Nevis. And if they get more, they send the difference to St. Kitts. That's what it used to be. And it was asked, a letter of suspension, requesting suspension was sent way back then. But what he gets is the CBI revenue. He gets 5,500,000 per month, which works out to $66 million. That's why he's been getting under Team Unity. He hasn't getting anything more. You know, he has, so the revenue sharing, or the fair share, as you call it, that has not been finalized. He's getting this CBI revenue. This is what he said, if you can listen to this.
We expect our recurrent revenue to be augmented by the remittance of at least $66 million from the federal government, representing our share of revenue from the CBI program. This remittance, when combined with our projected revenue collections, will provide a total overall recurrent revenue of $230.7 million for the upcoming fiscal period.
So he gets $66 million, which augments his revenue. If he don't get that money, he can't pay civil servants. That's as simple and straightforward as that is.
But I would like to add something, Brother Patrick. In the aspect of his requirement and requiring for the revenue of the VAT in his possession that is state for Nevis to be collecting, and then you have to reach down to think it in the treasury to give a core of how the percentage will lie. In that sense, in my opinion, and I'm only stating my opinion, I think whatever the disclose from that avenue in the revenue in the VAT, it should be utilized for things that is venue for development and social aspect of the community and the grounds that the state has paid, as you just outlined, paying the civil servant.
Well, that's fair. Nothing wrong with that. So
I only want, and I hope that he could make sure when these things come, his accountability there is laid within this aspect, because you just can't call for something and then give the grounds of what it really budgeting into to create that avenue for what you're stating for. So is he calling out for that? This is why I say if you're looking to get that there, you have to make sure you utilize in the way that it's supposed to touch to the people and not to who are personal ground of what you need for your own convenience. Any one of them. And another question I would like to ask, why is it administration like to always put themselves into private building and they have the building and they're just lackadated and whatnot?
Good question.
I see that happening not just in St. Kitts and Nevis. When I went to St. Lucia, 1999, I see a building that used to be a house set for CARICOM, heads of government, and it just dilapidated and nothing was even pursuing in it, and it's a good upstate building. I see. So why is it these administration doing these things amongst the Caribbean region? That's why we're losing money. We are not stabilizing the economy. We're weakening on the economy when we do this kind of thing. Because the businesses, the money don't stay here, It move outside in another banking structure. And you know that too, Brother Patrick. So anyway, you have a blessed night. May the Almighty keep you joyful and peaceful through your program setting.
Thank you. I wish you the same as well, my dear brother. I go back to the lines. It's 10 o'clock. Time to be moving on. Caller, you're live. Hello, caller.
Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night, sir.
Yeah, Rascolonji. I've been listening to you tonight, and what I'm saying is that the way how we characterize certain things, we take things for a joke. Remember, I think 2 programs ago, I mentioned Eric Prince to you. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay.
No, we colonize the countries. Is it so?
Okay then.
Yes.
Yeah, so you saw the video then?
Yes, I saw it. And so he has some merit, don't you think?
Had some merit in what sense?
I'm asking you because
no. I don't see it has no merit. Okay. What I'm saying to people, right? He's accusing us of being corrupted. Who taught us to be corrupt? You see what I'm saying? And all the people, all of our leaders who have tried to take a different path, Thomas Sankara, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Patrice Lumumba, Kwame Nkrumah, I could go on and on. They have wiped them out or overthrown them. You know? So what I'm saying to you is that they're accusing us of being corrupt, but they are doing the same thing that we are doing. It's okay. If you want to say the CBI having corruption, you remember the mortgage crash in 2008 in the United States?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they was giving people loans who couldn't pay the loans back, and they knew it. The banks, them knew that. You understand what I'm saying? All what they're accusing us of doing, they are doing themselves. But the difference between we and them, they have the power to do us as they like. But what I'm saying to you, I get back to Eric Prince. Eric Prince was the founder of BlackRock. And what I'm saying to our people, that he have the capability of recolonizing us. Because he have a private outfit that is a military outfit. He went to Iraq and liquidated people in Iraq because he was sent to Iraq as a private army, I think under the Bush administration, the son Bush. You see what I'm saying? All what they're accusing us of doing, they're doing themselves. So all I'm saying to our people, we got to get our house in order. You know, we don't hear calling each other names and this and that and that. I'm saying it's time for us to sit down and trash out our differences. Because all what they're accusing us of doing, they engage in it because they stole us and brought us to the Western world. And then they don't want to pay reparations. You know, and there's no statute of limitations on crimes against humanity. So I'm saying, my brother, it's time for us to really sit down, get the house in order. 2025 is around the corner, and start to deal with these imperialist forces. Because we have an example now, you know. I don't know if you know what is going on in Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. That is our example. We have to put the imperialists out and take charge of our affairs. And in Niger, when they tell France it's time to leave, they refuse to leave. Okay. We have to shut off the water in the embassy to get them out the country. Yep. So even though they say we are backward and we this and with that, they want to keep exploiting us. You know, look what is going on with the inflation. We have inflation here in the country. The Prime Minister says it's imported. It's imported because we import everything. We're not self-sufficient in feeding ourselves.
Yes, yeah, we're getting peppers, man. Pepper in the soup.
But you see what I'm saying? You see, you're talking about the peppers again. You see what I'm saying to you?
But that's the focus. You're saying that we're not self-sufficient, and we all know that. But the focus is on peppers, you know?
Yeah, but what I'm saying to you, though, we got to tell them, we got to get something that is, okay, for instance, take hemp, ganja. Ganja could create over 300 industries in this country.
Yep.
You know, we could produce our own fuel from hemp. Mm-hmm. We could build houses. We could create shoes out of hemp, clothing, all kind of things. So all I'm saying, my brother, in the new year coming, It's time for us to put our house in order.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
Got you, my brother. Thanks a lot for your intervention today.
So blessed love. What Granny said? Love one another, respect one another, one aim, one destiny, one people. Give thanks, one love.
Give thanks, my brother. Always welcome your interventions. Good night, good evening, Patches. Reads this email. How much money did Dr. Jew bail out Social Security with? Why? I read today that he's bipolar. I don't know which crazy mode he was in when he said that, but no one has ever bailed out Social Security because it's the most solid fund in the Caribbean. Dr. Jew and his cabinet and advisors are looking excuses for their reckless travel, lavish trips, hotels, and performs. Their 33% is the highest form of greed, willfulness, and ignorance. They get allowance every month. Live free of the government purse, now can pay a double salary and dividends. We need to hit the streets. While they enrich themselves since 2022, they made laws to satisfy themselves and keep down the people in the country. Jew cannot blame anyone but himself and his cabinet for the economic disaster that's happening. Reads this email. This other email reads, Hi Patches, pleasant night. Let me get something straight, partner. I need your help. That political novice and joker Prime Minister Jew really signed 22,000 passports? Yes, he did. If that joker did, what kind of incentive would have induced him into signing that many passports? Reads this other email. Patches, please let that woman know that the good treasury of St. Kitts does not accept the illicit proceeds of criminal acts. What Prime Minister Jew is doing now is simply trying to extort our CBI citizens. Shameful day in the Federation. Reads this other email. And I'll take this, my final email for the night. Good night, Patches. For the first time in my life, I feel almost ashamed to say where I am from. Our leadership under Jew and his cabinet has failed us terribly. The state of our economy is alarming, and the rise in crime is completely unacceptable. Take the Pelican Shopping Mall bathroom as just one example. It's a national embarrassment for a country that boasts about having the best CBI program. This situation reflects the broader neglect and lack of accountability in our leadership. We don't want excuses anymore. The administration has proven to be as ineffective as a slow student in class. They should all wake up tomorrow, wave the white flag, and admit to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis that they were not capable of doing the job. It's time for them to step aside and let someone who genuinely cares about the nation, a leader like the Right Honorable Timothy Harris, take the reins. Thank you for giving me the platform to share my thoughts. Reads that email. And my Straight Talk family, as we wrap tonight's programming, some of you may have joined me late, and we, in fact, looked at our thesis, which I titled CBI GANGSTA-MOVE, Teef-from-Teef, Make God Laugh. And the GANGSTA-MOVE I referred to, my Straight Talk family, I made mention of this communication that was sent from the Ministry of National Security, Immigration and Citizenship. And when we read that letter tonight, for those of you who may not have read it, take your time. It's going to be on your screens, on your monitors. But the content of this 3-page long-winded letter, dated 3rd December 2024, and now circulating in the CBI market worldwide, has exposed what stakeholders are calling a gangster-move approach approved by the government of St. Kitts Nevis, headed by a prime minister who is acting like the boss of an inner city street gang. And the letter is posted. And I asked myself the question, and I ask you to tell me, what standing does the government has to claim any shortfall in any investment? And I state that this idiot we call a prime minister is on a pathway to destroy St. Kitts and Nevis. This road that Dr. Terence Michael July and his cabinet have now embarked upon will lead to the destruction, I posit the view, of the CBI more than he has already done. He called Martinez a fraud. Martinez apparently ran afoul of the law in France. But here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Caribbean Galaxy was approved by the CIU under the alternative investment option to build a correctional facility, or a prison as everybody calls it. And I am not a lawyer, but the arrangements under which approval was granted are as simple as ABC. A, 5,500 shares were approved. B, government already collected its fees as per the legislation, and I am advised amounting to somewhere in the region of $688 million, according to the COR signed by Terence Michael July. And the number of passports, he said, were issued. And C, all that is now required by Caribbean Galaxy is to hand over the asset, the prison, when construction is completed. So what money is owed to the government? The legislation is clear. Sell the units or the shares. Yes, at an approved price as per the legislation. Pay the government its fees and hand over the project or asset to the government when it's built. So July comes to the country and tells us that a man in one of the videos tried to shake him down for $40 or $100 million. Who is this man? All those projects that have been approved, the Bastia High School project, the Creative Arts Center, how many shares were sold? Or how many shares were approved, beg your pardon? And what is the cost of these facilities? You are hiding that, and now you come with your Nancy story about somebody trying to shake down the Prime Minister for $40 million or $100 million.
Subsequently, one of the persons in the videos that he have, and I want you to listen to this, approached the government. And one of the things that was said to me and to the government was if we wanted this to go away, we need to pay 40 to 100 million US dollars in my office. How can a man enter in my office saying to me that I have to take 40 to 100 million dollars out of the government's treasury to settle this case that a fraudster has brought forward, who should not have been in the first place?
Well, who is that man? Terence Michael July, tell us. Because this seems to be a case where someone was trying to thief 40 to $100 million from the government, or to rape the treasury of that amount. And now the government, to the Ministry of National Security, is now trying to thief money from over 100 CBI clients who they claim thief money from the government by underpaying for their passports or taking part in an underselling passport scheme. And whose signature is on the letter? Believe it or not, a man called Fresh Face.
I remember in the 1970s, there was a man called Liburd. Liburd said that his government had the power to take not only land, but life as well. That is the philosophy and the ideology of the Labour Party.
That was, or still is, the philosophy and ideology of the party, Fresh Face. It has not changed. They are still taking the land. Some people, since government change, have lost their land. They're still taking the life. As things are so hard under July, people are dying. And now, an extension, they're taking back passports. And many have opined that this recent action undertaken by the July administration is typically associated with criminal behavior, and it is sanctioned and supported by a government through officials in the Ministry of National Security. It's a gangster move. It's a ruthless or morally questionable tactic, obviously aimed at recovering money to cover his budget shortfall of $322 million. A 60% variance in his revenue collection. Where will that money come from? Terrence Michael July has damaged the CBI. He has damaged the economy in the process. And he is now damaging our prosperity. July is behaving like a gangster as his government now engages in or allows unethical, corrupt actions that would typically be seen as criminal if carried out by individuals or groups outside of official power. There's government corruption. The Prime Minister turned a blind eye to what he's now calling organized crime or illegal business deals, he called them. He turned a blind eye and signed over 20,000 CORs. My straight dog family, now it looks like Teef-from-Teef making God laugh. My straight dog family, any government that takes something that does not belong to it might be called a thieving government, my straight dog family. Any government. And that's what they're doing here, my straight dog family. Taking things. And we have a bunch of politicians playing on the idea that two wrongdoers cancel each other out, or that the divine or moral judgment of the actions become less clear or relevant. It implies that God or the universe finds humor in the irony of the situation, because both Martinez and the government officials are acting in morally questionable ways. In a sense, my straight dog family, it's a way of saying when two parties are involved in wrongdoing, the act may seem less significant or even absurd, my straight dog family. It might also reflect a sense of inevitable justice or karma, where wrongdoing is dealt with in a circular, somewhat humorous way, my straight dog family. What is happening in St. Kitts and Nevis is reckless. Conversation tonight, as always, I want to thank you, my straight dog family, those of you who listened, those of you who sent emails, and those of you who called. Remember, you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that reason, I say a big, big thank you. I am Ian Patches Liburd, and God's spare we will connect on Monday for another edition of Straight Talk. Until that time, be good to yourselves and to all whom you meet. And remember that whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But you first got to believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my shot, Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye until we connect on Monday.
In the morning, I thank God for the morning light. Give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. For the rest of food and loving care, brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Down on my knees, to the Lord I kneel and pray, with my heart and soul, beg Him to take me through each day. My guardian to keep and my guide, over every step I take, He will preside. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow. Now I'm on my way, with strength and courage from above. No man I'll fear, since God protects me with His love. Strong, pure and true, and so sincere, 'cause my knees I'll always stay to the Lord in prayer. So whatever my mind conceives that I will achieve, you better believe, because I do the things I should, be to my brethren kind and good, the best I could. So I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on, I gotta reach the top somehow. I'll keep moving on, I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.